Hey everyone, it's Sunday already, so time for another deck guide. This time we choose Crach because for the faction challenge we actually picked Skellige. I don't want to play only adult humans, and for me that's currently my only Nilfgaard deck I kind of enjoy, so I wanted to play a bit of more control, and that's why I picked Crach. It's pretty good. So let me share a deck guide about Crach with you, and I would say let's head right into it. Let's start with the summary of this deck. This deck is a full control deck, meaning we are able to remove nearly everything from the enemy's side of the board, but we lack a bit of points. So the benefits of this deck are, as you already said, we're able to remove a ton of engines, we're able to remove tall units because we tacked a bit against it, but on the negative side, we have not as much points as, for example, if you just play Point Slam, and we only have 4 proactive plays, meaning if we don't draw the proactive plays, but at the same time we actually need to go first, then we might run into a problem. So in the rock, paper, scissors thing, we are good against engine decks are good against point slam decks, and point slam decks are good against control decks. So we're on the control side of things. There we go. Let's start with the proactive plays. The most easy proactive play is our Longship. We just played it as an order ability, damage an enemy by 1, while at the same time it will damage itself by 1. Through Longship, we just play 5 points. If it gets locked, it's still 5 points on the board. And as soon as the enemy plays a unit, we can next turn then already use the Longship to deal damage to it. Also, Longship helps every removal. For example, if we have a Skull, which does a 4-point removal, we can use Longship to increase the removal value to 5. So as long as we have a Longship on the board, we always can remove up to 5 points right away from the enemy. With Crach available, we can remove up to 6 points available. And if we have 2 Longships, then we could go even as far as say we can remove a 7-point engine right away. And with 7 points removal, you can remove nearly everything. The second proactive play is Harald. Harald is a pretty good card because it's not only tempo, but if you play it as the first card in a round, for example, if you're on blue and go first, then as soon as the enemy plays something, you can immediately trigger one of your skulls to deal 2 damage to the enemy, and then with Crach you already have a 3-point removal, and since it's the only enemy unit, it's a targeted removal by that as well. So pretty good card. You want to play that at the start of a round. Then we have the Svalbard Totem. Svalbard Totem is just a proactive play when you need a filler. You can also start the round with it, but if you have a light Longship or Harald, you probably want to start with that. If you play against Skellige, you might want to start with Svalbard Totem, because if you run into a Marauder, then Marauder will actually trigger your Svalbard Fanatics, which is way better than for example, you play Harald, because then your skulls are just gone and you didn't get any value for it. So what I'm trying to say with this proactive plays is, if you need space and you can't just play removal because you won't find a lot of value, you want to save it for something, then those are your plays you can do. The next ones are our high unit removal. The most obvious one is Geralt. Geralt just 3-point drop. You can kill everything that is higher than 8. So you typically want to keep this as your last card in round 3, and then just hit the highest unit with it. Then we have Björn. But Björn is kind of like my Joker. Typically you want to play it in round 3 as well, like hit something hard. But the problem is, it needs to be a damaged unit, so if the enemy is boosted, Björn won't be able to destroy it. So against decks where I know I won't find that many high body cards, for example like Nilfgaard, then Björn is sometimes just used to kill it on, let's say a 6 or 5 in round 1 already, just to get the tempo if you need it, for example. Otherwise you just want to have it for round 3 and hit something hard. Then we have Ulfhedin. Ulfhedin is not really removal, but what Ulfhedin does is, if, for example, you have an Glaze which is boosted up to 40 in round 3, then you can still use Ulfhedin if you don't have Geralt available, and it will do half of the enemy's health in damage. So the higher the enemy units are, the better Ulfhedin becomes, so still a good tool against high units. If you want to, if you have Geralt in your hand, then you want to play Ulfhedin first for sure, because Ulfhedin can also get you value on a 5-point unit, so to say, and Geralt will find you way more value if you just get removing high-point unit from the board. So Ulfhedin good, Geralt is better. Then we have some medium removal cards. So these cards are around typically If you play a 3-point engine, that's very dangerous because the enemy can remove it very easily. But if you play something like a 5-point engine, like the new Blue Belugas, it's very likely that it actually will stick to the board because there's not that much you can do about it. With medium removal, we can't do it. So one of the first cards, and this is probably our best card, is Hjalmar. Hjalmar picks a card from your graveyard and just deals damage to the enemy by the power of the unit you picked from your graveyard and exiled it. So typically we don't have that much high units, but we have, for example, like Longship for 5-point removal, pretty good already against the Boschling, for example. But we also have, and that's what you want to do normally, you want to have a Disgraced Brawler in your graveyard. Best like you play a Disgraced Brawler in round 1, then you have in round 3 a Disgraced Brawler available for Hjalmar to banish in round 3, and with the Disgraced Brawler you can just remove anything, because like the 7-point is typically the safest zone in Gwent. With a Disgraced Brawler in your graveyard, you use Hjalmar and just destroy it. And then we have Dona. Dona just deals 2-point damage, but 5 points if you actually get Berserk 2. With Crach, with Longship, it's very easy to get Berserk of 2. So Dona typically does 5 points of damage, and that, well, is enough to get rid of nearly every engine. Skellige, solid 4-point removal. Just you need to be really careful with Skellige. Skellige only does 4 damage to an undamaged enemy. So if you wanna like kill a 5-point unit, you need to Skellige first and then use your Crach tick. Otherwise, you can't use Skellige on the 4-point unit anymore. Then we have Muzzle. Muzzle is pretty great because, for example, if the enemy has a shield, Muzzle doesn't care. Muzzle just charms the enemy, gets it on your side of the board, engine is gone, you get 5 points hopefully, and it's a 10-point play with removal value, pretty good. As I already said, with Crach you can even increase the value of all these removals. For example, if you have Crach and the Hjalmar +7, you can still remove an 8-point unit. Same with Skellige, 4 + 1 is a 5, so pretty great. That's why we play Crach with this removal deck. And then we have some low engine removal, which is able to get like the lowest engines out, and like typically the cards don't need that much provision cost. So for example, Cypress, this is a very good card to banish because it actually banishes a card. So for example, if you see an enemy Roach, we just play him. Roach is banished, and Asir will be pretty sad if she doesn't have a Roach to get back in round 3 if you play against Nilfgaard. But it's also good against, for example, Arbalests or whatever. The good thing about him is also he doesn't care if the enemy has a shield, he just banishes the unit and it is gone. Next one is our Primal Savagery. It deals 2 points of damage, but if we have like Longships on the field, Crach on the field, we can get up to 4, we can remove in 3 or 4-point units, and by dealing 2 damage with a Death Blow, we actually get our 5-point Bear Abomination on the field, pretty good as well. Ravager, 2 points of damage, the same rules apply as to Primal Savagery. The good thing is, this is also good to enable Bloodthirst because it deals 2 points of damage, and if after the damage there is already oh wait, let me rephrase that. It's good to enable Bloodthirst because it deals 2 damage, but it has like a Berserk effect as well, and which typically he triggers himself because he creates the second damaged unit, and this means like at 2 rounds of bleeding to an enemy, so pretty good as well. And a Pirate Captain, if Berserk 2, deal 3 damage to an enemy, can remove 3-point engines as well. Then we have some Bloodthirst enablers. Obviously Longship, Harald of course, because we're just able to deal damage. We talked about Ravager as well. And then last but not least we have the Cutthroat, which just deals 2 points of bleeding to the enemy. The key thing here is that bleeding applies at the end of their round. So typically if they, for example, heal, which not a lot of people play, but if you have heal, like it would not help because the bleeding would apply afterwards. And then we have some miscards, and those are Gregoire. Gregoire is a good card because if you can create 1-point enemies, which you can create very reliable thanks to Crach and Longships and so on, Gregoire is able to kill that unit and buffs itself up to 9, gets a shield, pretty good. Typically in like tall removal metas, I probably wouldn't play Gregoire, but if you're fairly comfortable that he'll stay on your side of the board, then he's just a good value card. Then we have Jenge. Jenge is another control card because Bloodthirst 1 is something we can create just by using the Crach tick, and it has Berserk 1 and then it locks the unit. So, and also has a 6-point body, so 6-point body is just great value as well. Last one is the Butcher. Butcher you typically want to combine with Harald because it actually deals 2 damage to an enemy, to a friendly unit, and then adds 3 rounds of bleeding to an enemy. But if you use this ability on one of your Harald skulls, then you don't lose a lot of value. You actually get a lot of value because you trigger the skull, plus you get the 3 rounds of bleeding. So pretty good card, but that's like the filler card of the deck, I would say. So if you want to get rid of a card, then this one would be it. And then last but not least, we give some tips and tricks for this deck. And the first one is, I already talked about it, get one Disgrace Brawler into the graveyard until run 3, otherwise Hjalmar won't have the 7-point target. Then also we quickly talked about it, don't play Gregoire if you expect tall removal. Honestly, if you know that there's a Geralt or something, he's the only card that really goes over the 7-point mark. So Gregoire will become like 8, 9, like he becomes a 9, but most tall removal starts at 8. So if you expect a Geralt, just don't play and play something else. You get more value from playing a Butcher at this point than if you play Gregoire, because Gregoire will just be removed, while the Butcher still can stay on the board. And for Longship and Crach, you can increase the removal capacity, as we said. If you have Longship, Crach, you can use Skjal to even remove a 7-point unit in the best case. And one more thing about round length. Since you have Crach, you want to play long rounds because you can then utilize your value better. If, for example, you play against the burst leader, let's say Henselt or Harald, they're really good in a small round, and you can diminish the value if you just play a long round, because then like the one burst does not have that much effect onto the round. So play longer rounds if possible. And one exception here. If you play against engine decks, for example, like Foltest, Meave, whatever, Ada, like not on Realms Channel, let's say, you want to push against these decks in round 2, because engine decks also thrive on long rounds, but thanks to your removal, you can really outvalue them in a short round, then pass when they actually have the setup ready, and then they need 1 or 2 cards even to catch up, so you get card advantage, you play a longer round in round 3 as well, pretty good. And with that, I would say let's head into some gameplay and let's just see how this deck will play out. Ada. A lot of different stuff to do.
What is it I fancy today?
Well, let's see. Against Ada. I think if you have the ships, we don't need bleeding. I like to have you in later round, so we're going to play the Brawler for the value. Ravage is pretty good, I guess. Gregoire will work. Not sure where we go, but hey. Got a lot of control here. Oh, look at you. Beautiful in your red dress. Well then.
These dogs have no honor.
Selkirk at 10. Well, it makes a ton of sense. On the other hand, it also enables me to play big Ulfadin. So, cool. Sure. Kill it. Well, should we mulligan it right away? Ah, mulligan. I think we muzzle it right away. There we go. And now we're actually already ahead. Pretty good! Stone engine, like muzzle. Oh yeah, come on. It's the point where we maybe play... Actually, I could play Ravager. I mean, at some point you need to play ships, but... Now I need to use Visibility next round, or Ves will just die. If it was an engine, we can still jink it.
Studies are more important than this.
Sure. So the thing is now, we still have like a lot of time here. So we just enable Bloodthirst 2. We would need a third one for the Brawler, but we'll see if we actually need it. Don't need it, we can just play Brawler here. And then we have a target for Hjalmar. Good. Now we need to play round 2 to push it. So if he plays Hubert and stuff, you know. Even though I don't like to play short rounds, but hey. If we find Geralt, we could play a long round, because we could just react to it. Okay, we found Geralt, so with having last save, we could just get rid of the Hubert and utilize our order. I mean, like, thing is, he still has like a lot of engines, but in this case, I think we're fine because of the power of Geralt against the big Hubert. We need to avoid Sabrina, of course. That will be a challenge, but other than that, we'll see. Here again. Totem is good. Harald would be amazing. The other stuff I'm not too sure about. So the thing is, like, we need to play Disgrace Brawl at some point. If you don't get the free Bloodthirst, it will die. Okay, there you go. Nice. Okay, we will banish that immediately. And we play ranged. Then he plays his trebuchet, which we didn't skill. So everything is in order. There we go. Because those will be melee. So let's see if he plays trebuchet. Murder back, okay. I mean, that's something we want to kill as well. We're currently setting up charges for Crach, which I don't like. But yeah, question here. Do we just lock it? I don't want to use Yalma on it. Don't want to use Björn. Do we just play Longship? But he's going to create another one next round. So we're still playing back row.
You're coming with me, dead or alive.
So at least you got a Bloodthirst unit out now.
We're in for a long, dark
Huh,
night.
okay. Now I would have needed Savage. My Savage card. You can play Donna now. I don't like this. Well. Let's play Donna. Basically used one of our engine removals, which I don't like. Yeah, good that we did it. Can now play Crach if you want to. Also, we should at some point get ship out, so let's get the ship out first. We could have Crached still.
I'll gladly help.
We should have Crached last turn. Is this our Björn target? I hope not. I kind of want to save the Crach charge to kill whatever comes. At some point we also need to play Gregoire, so since the ship is blocked. Next is probably Swabble Totem or Yama. Yeah, high point removal. That's why I typically don't want to play Gregoire. Let's play it back row, because if Piece of Green is dead, then they still transform, it's fine. There you go. That's my Björn target, I think. And then we have 2 more control cards. Next round, probably Yalma and then Geralt and whatever is left. Hopefully the Hubert. Ada currently doesn't have like a lot of targets as well.
I am ready.
There's Sabrina. Nice, it actually will trigger my Swab Bloods. I guess we just kill a 5 here.
1,000 thundering sea devils!
There we go. Still value. And now to the big Hubert. And then we just Geralt it. She actually just... Wow, that was a pretty bullshit Ada. I'm sorry.
I shall teach
There he is. Wow. Let's just do it, just for the sake of it.
I hate portals.
Fine, long round against Ada. Nice. Wolf Pup.
Got the heart of an uncrate.
And a Dryad. Well, let's see. Oh, wow. So we have a lot of. If we don't, it's hard. Don't want to have too many brawlers. We can use them to end stuff. Don't want to have too many low units, otherwise they will just wish it. We don't have Harl, so I'm not going to use Butcher. Don't have too many of those. Let's see if this will survive. Don't want to put it up to 9 though. Or to 10 in this case even. Hard.
I trust no one.
Okay,
Never
sure.
have.
Well, we can use Roach now. We can immediately kill Roach. For savagery, so that's nice. Or we go with Longship. No, we could just Crach here. And we go for value. There we go. We don't need to play it right now. We can still play another Longship in the next round. Or we keep it for free even. We will see.
No! Let the door
Fletchling. We can banish it though, that's nice. I'm already like sick using gold cards in round 1 again. I'm not a big fan of that. We want to play as low point as possible, but on blue, you always have the problem. You need to put some temp out. Otherwise he just overtakes you.
We've lived in isolation for too bloody long.
Yeah, he's going for a carryover. This case is again very good for us. I would like to use my Crach, so we could just wait with the dwarf here and just kill it. On the other hand, like having a, but we'll get more prowler search we target, I think. So we just play the Longship. I think so. So there we go, just kill the dwarf. Next round I want to play more tactical advantage and then we maybe pass. Well, depends what he has. If he buffed up like... I mean, his Sheldon is now +2 currently. He hasn't played too many cards yet.
Slow, ain't ya?
Well, it's just value for him, I don't care too much. Could play the Brawler and buff it up, then he has a high point removal target. Which he will get anyway with this. What do we do here? Jenga we kind of want to keep. Let's go full risk here. And let's see if he can pass. And he passes, okay. So the thing is, we get mobile in the long run again. But if he gets a lot of engines on the board, he does as well. This can kill the oak. We have last say, that's good. Don't have Harl yet. Oh, Bjorn. Surgery. I think we play long round. We have some tools to remove engines, lock engines. So we're not utterly... We are equipped quite good, I guess. And we have some good cards in hand as well. If we get like Muzzle, Harald, that would be my go-to cards. Maybe even instead of Harald, more Donner. He didn't Finn so far. He didn't get his Brooklyn Sentinels out, that's good as well. The Sheldon currently is only 2 power card. He could have quest played at the carryover dwarf now. Gabor. But the question is if he has it. Because currently he didn't look like it. Oh, he has it, okay. Oh, that was actually +2. So, like, he lost the carryover from the dwarf, but therefore he gets a 5-turn carryover for Gabor. That's not too bad for me, because we have targets to hit already in the beginning with We don't want to play Brawl, I guess. That's better. Okay. I already have a Crach target, it's good. Even though it will boost, so... We need to see if we lock this.
Just as we do.
I mean, this is an easy target for skill. Oh shit, we should have cracked. That's the problem if you talk a lot with the camera pointed in you. You forget so much stuff. It's so different if you just play focused. Anyway. Okay, he wants to get the Brooklyn Sentinels out. The Sentinels, or Sentinels once more. So maybe he wants to buff Sheldon. Do we ravage it? I think so. Because he needs to play 2 harmony cards now, so it will not die. Now we still can lock it, worst case. But I would like to lock something else. Depends how much engine heavy this deck is.
Why have you summoned me?
Yeah, we'll probably just lock it. A lock or not to lock? That is the question. Let's just lock it.
Dead or alive.
It doesn't matter, like, you don't need to wait here. I'll play Swallow Totem when there's nothing to hit here.
Onward, Fryhead!
Okay. Donner may find this as a target at some point. Just going to hit the Dragoon. Just to set up Bloodthirst for later. Currently we're doing fine. But she has still a lot of tools.
Yes, Dwan.
That makes sense. Doesn't look like we find too many engines here. Do we want to transform that? I don't know. Not yet, probably. Don't know if we could Donner target right now. We could just play Björn here. We still have Geralt for the Oak. Let's just trade. It's a 9 point for Björn, it's 9 for 9. Could have been worse. But we still have like a lot of big anti-big good cards, so. Do we play Donner? No? Just play for value here and split the round so he can't crush and trap us or whatever he wants to do. So the big unit is coming, like we have the tools to do so. Against Iflin, I think we just muzzle her. It's like 10 points in muzzle, and there won't be engines coming anymore, so the muzzle is the best value muzzle we can get in this case, I guess. Now we have high point, anti-high point units. Okay. How big is our graveyard? We have a 7 potentially. There will be a Sheldon in there and there will be an Oak in there. So we wanna utilize Yalma for sure. Let's do it this way. Get the Crach out. And let's see. This is our last card for sure. Yeah, we're going to just kill the Barnabas.
1,000 Thunder and Sea Devils!
There we go. 1,000 Thunder and Sea Devils. Question is now, he has 3 charges. Does he utilize them? Does he play Reaches or something? If he plays Reaches, then we have a problem. But as long as he plays Oak or something. Yeah, it looks like Oak, I guess. But why? No, it can't be Oak, right? Why would he have played? Why would he play Oak if he didn't
Little
Shell
as
for sure?
melons. You're one dead
Exactly. But that's the thing. We have the girl to deal with him.
Damn it.
Right, Shell. Thank you very much. Sorry. Thanks everyone for watching the video. Subscribe if you want to see more Gwent content, especially my in-depth Gwent guides going live on weekends. And don't forget to check out my Patreon page where you can support this channel and get cool rewards in the process. My Twitch times are Monday to Thursday starting at 2 CET. See you on stream.